Alright guys, and welcome back to another Sword Art Online Variant Showdown video. For this video, we are taking a look at ability cards. We're going to do a tier list for those cards. I hope you guys enjoy this one. If you are new to the channel, subscribe for more content. That being said, if you haven't seen the character tier list video, or the video talking about the best starter account you can get, the reroll guide, you can check those videos out down below in the description or clickable on your screen in the final 20 seconds of this video. Now, I am going to come back eventually and do something similar for SR ability cards or for SR characters. However, one thing I want to just show you guys is this game, unlike a lot of other games, a lot of games are like this, but unlike a lot of games, I can't actually see the cards or characters that I don't own, right? And this is a problem because if I want to do a tier list video, I obviously don't want to omit anything. So if you guys have access to some of the SR characters that I don't own, please send me screenshots of their abilities on Twitter. Link is down below in the description so I can do that. Same for ability cards. This is what I currently have. If you have some of the ones that I am missing, again, please send me screenshots of the abilities on Twitter that I can show you guys in videos and do a tier list for, like this one here from Amir. I did not have two of the SSR ability cards that we're going to be ranking in today's video, so I wanted to, again, be sure to include them in the video for you guys. So let's start off with this Lisbeth one here. Awakening gauge plus 5%, and then we'll move on afterwards to the other ones. Now, here's the deal. If you're wondering what you should prioritize in this game between cards and characters, you do want to get some cards, but the characters are the main priority in this game. Cards are going to be for min-maxing. They're going to help you, but characters, you can't do anything without characters. That's the point. Now, there are a number of good free SSR characters and cards available. I don't know if they'll be on this tier list that Rokage created, but shout out to him, by the way, for the tier list. But there is a lot of option when it comes to free characters and stuff and cards, so you don't have to feel pressured when re-rolling to get cards. But I do suggest getting at least one good card, either the Kirito card or the Asuna card primarily. So we're looking here at the Lisbeth one, Awakening Gauge plus 5%. That is a nice bonus. The stats are plus 100 each. I'm not really going to focus a ton on the stats because that changes as the card levels up, unfortunately. And this is why I really need access to a wiki where I can see the max stats and stuff. We don't have that for this game yet. We'll come back to the ranking in a second. Let's take a look here at the Lifa card. Same stats, 100 across the board. Skill cooldown and switch cooldown minus 5% on both of them. That's actually extremely powerful. So they're both really good, and they're good for different reasons, obviously. But this one here really caught my eye with the skill cooldown and the switch cooldown. Switch cooldown is ridiculous because that obviously, for obvious reasons as to why that's crazy. But this has got to be one of the best ones in the game, especially if you are, improving it. So definitely not one to sleep on. Let's go ahead and log on to my game and show you guys the ones that I have access to, and then we'll finally do the tier list. All right, so we'll see the ability cards here, and we'll start off with the Kirito one here. So as you see, first thing you see is that the stats are very different. For one, it's been leveled up, so the stats are higher. I think it was 100 previously. If it was 100 by base, no, it just depends. It was probably 350. Okay, I was gonna say, here we go. So skill power plus 5% and an additional 5% when using fire elemental skills. Now, the best team in this game right now is a fire-based team, including Kirito and Lisbeth. And for the record, the third character can be kind of whoever, but there is a free Silica. I come to find out that's a fire attribute one. You can throw her as your third character, but the Gacha Silica is really good as a healer and support character. Asuna is a really good character, but in my opinion, Silica and Kirito make up the best team right now in the game. So this is a peak card for the current climate of the game. Speaking of Asuna, this card here is really crazy too. Crit rate up by 20% and crit damage plus 10% when using opponent's elemental weakness. So when you have again, this is very powerful right now because a lot of I think the blue-eyed demon is weak to not red, but fire attribute right now. So again, this is a really powerful card for the current setup and current things in the game right now. And I want to double check this, but I'm pretty sure I'll have to pull up one of these other cards. I'm pretty sure that if and or when you start unlocking potential, yeah, the skills do improve. Plus 2%, that'll keep going up, obviously. This is really relevant for cards like the lethal one that we looked at earlier. Those numbers going up on skill cooldown and switch cooldown is going to be nuts, right? So we'll look at this free one here, Decisive Strike, skill power up, an additional 5% when using fire element skills. You may notice it's the same card. Yeah, it's the same card. They gave us the same card. Same stats. It's a free version of the same card. They may, upon getting dupes, this one may peak higher, but for now they're the same card. However, this one, as you see, they also give free dupes for it, so they'll be appropriately ranked at the same position. This Asuna card, burst gauge accumulation plus 10%. This is really powerful, and particularly powerful if you have Asuna, because you'll be able to really get that burst going really quickly. This is a free one, Bond of Friendship here. This is a similar one to the Kirito one, but it's for water element skill, and then water skill power when awakened. Okay, so that part at the bottom is not relevant until you get the awakened, which is kind of whatever. It's kind of late game for that, but when you do get it, you know, it'll be really powerful. Silica's here is extremely powerful. Nullifies physical damage when HP is 100% or higher once only. Can be activated again in 30 seconds. So this one is kind of niche, but it's really powerful, and for two reasons. First and foremost, Kirito is the best character in the game. He peaks at a high HP threshold. I think it's 100% or higher, actually, where he's at his absolute strongest. So for one, getting damage nullification, just immunity actually to damage once, is very powerful. And then again, it will be accessible later on. And if you're pairing him with the healing Silica, so like the content in the game right now isn't hard enough for you to really need this type of stuff, but if you're pairing him with the healing Silica, she'll bring him back up to 100. This can pop again. It activates once every 30 seconds, things like that. So a very powerful chain of combos that you can actually achieve with a character like Kirito and this and Silica on your team as well. That's why I said don't sleep on the Silica character, because she's extremely high value in harder content. She's probably the best support character. Well, she is the best support with the healing and the strength and all that increase. So that is all of them. And if you were wondering if you should be feeding the dupes, we talked about how the dupes will improve, right? I can't click this. They will improve the effect on the card. However, I personally wouldn't recommend doing that right now, except for the free ones, I guess. I wouldn't recommend doing that right now. I wouldn't recommend doing that too quickly, because you can equip these on other characters, right? It's not limiting you to saying, oh, you can only have one of these in your entire party. If that was the case, I would say do it ASAP. But since that's not the case, I would suggest leaving them on, leaving them as they are. So let's finally take a look at the actual tier list that we're going to be building live for the video. So first and foremost, this one here, this one did increase skill power and additional 5% when using fire elemental skills. And like I said, wherever we put that one, we're going to put this one, because they function exactly the same as currently constructed. Again, this one may peak, the gacha one may peak higher whenever you get the summons, but whenever you get more dupes in it, I'm not sure. That's where our wiki would be nice, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyways, for now, this one goes right here. It's just pure damage, skill power up, and an additional 5% when you use a fire skill is nice. And like I said, the best team in the game is a fire-based team, so I'm going to put that one right there. Next, we are going to take a look at the one that I just talked about, the Silica one. So I'm going to say, like I said, this is one that it's very similar to her character, actually, that can peak very highly. However, it does have very low lows. If you don't have a way to heal your character, for example, there are other cards and some other SSR characters, or not SSR characters, I don't think, but other characters of other rarities, I'm sure, but other ability cards for sure that can heal. But if you don't have a way to heal back up to 100 after you've potentially taken a hit, if you don't take a hit and you just pop this every 30 seconds, it's good. However, the 30-second condition is only relevant in harder content. So as such, for a general practical use, I'm going to put it low on the tier list. But in the harder content that requires you to play harder stages, where that type of team, like I mentioned earlier, is going to be relevant, that is one that can go all the way up here, for the record. But for now, I'm putting it here. So let's take a look at the Lisbeth one more time. I don't remember what that card did. It was a little bit ago. Awakening Gauge. It's not bad. I do like the stat spread on this one and the Leafa one. If I remember correctly, yeah, most of them, like the Silica one has defense up only. The Asuna one had strength and defense. Like, you have to also consider the stat increase too, because the character's gonna get these. But I like these 100 across the boards. That can also go up probably to 350 across the board, which that's the main value of a card like this. I think it goes to 350 or 250 across the board. So that's the main value to this. Anyways. So what I'm gonna do with this one, I'm gonna put it in B because of the stats, and the effect is good. It's just, to me, I don't know if 5% is a big enough difference, but at max dupe, when that number is in the double digits for sure, then yeah, it probably peaks higher than that. So we'll take a look at Leafa's here, who has the same stat spread, however, double effects that are really, really powerful. The skill cooldown and the switch cooldown, that's really, really you know what? I'm gonna put this one in S. I'm gonna put that one in S. I think the switch cooldown, it's only 5%, like I mentioned with the Lisbeth card, but I think that the switch cooldown and the skill cooldown, that stuff stacks really, really crazy with characters that also have switch cooldowns or skill cooldowns on switches. That stuff is very common. So this is a very, very useful card here. And I do think, like I said, the Kirito one may actually be the best one in the game for the relevant climate of the game, with fire attribute being so relevant right now, the bosses being weak to fire. However, just as a standalone, outside of the high stat, by the way, the high attack stat, I can't say it's a better card on effects and effects merits. But I am going to move on to another powerful card with a powerful single stat increase. The Asuna card actually has double 400 to strength and HP. So yeah, that's really powerful. The Asuna card is nuts though. Crit rate up 20%. Crit obviously means you'll do more damage. And then, speaking of damage, there's an actual crit damage modifier increase of 10% when the opponent when you're versus an opponent with elemental weakness. I talked about enemies being weak to fire, fire being the best team in the game right now, so that is a peak card to put on a character like that. Now, for the record, there is no like ranking between what's inside. It doesn't really matter where it's placed. But if I had to say what's number one, in my opinion, it's probably Asuna. But there is no like, if they're in the same tiers, there's no, that doesn't matter. So we're going to take a look at this Asuna card right here. I think this one is a free Asuna card. This one does burst gauge accumulation, and then it has 400 to strength and defense. I'm going to put it, burst gauge accumulation is actually really good. 10%, by the way, pre-dupe. I was going to put it right here, but I'm going to put it right here. And then last but not least, this may actually be appropriately ordered. We've got the free one here, which does 100 to all stats, water element skill damage, which is the same as, except for a water-based version of as a Kirito one. But the difference is this one does an extra skill power increase when awakened only. It's kind of hard to get there, so I'm going to put that one at the bottom currently. So I think that I'm very comfortable with this list. Like I mentioned a few times with some of these cards, there is a lot of manipulation to the placements on this list, and things that can change based on the content that you're taking on, what type of team you are using, etc., etc. But for me, in my opinion, in the climate of the current game, I think that this is an appropriate order for the cards that are available. So if you guys have any, like I said, info on those SR cards or SR characters, please go to the description, tweet me those images so I can make other videos like this for you guys, because I can't really, I can't, like I want to, but I can't. It's really hard to do. So please send me that stuff from future videos. Shout out to you if you do. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.